things. Yeah, you're not going to be okay all the time. And Edna is here doing somersaults inside here. Sometimes technology can do a doozy on you.
Headstand.
I'm telling you. Lakini uko salama, mrembo. Na kuna mrembo ngine anaitwa Salome. She hides somewhere inside a room that has many wires. Look on Danny, it looks like Darth Vader's house. Inside there, touching things, opening them. And you should see her. She's small.
Isn't that cute though?
She's small like this, but she packs
racks.
a serious punch. I'm telling you.
I know. Yeah, city calls are Japanese.
Yes, the people who are behind the scenes, you don't see them. But without them,
where?
We would be nowhere.
Exactly.
A very, very good morning to you. CT is still under the weather. Mark has done a thing and gotten on a plane and gone somewhere else. But you know what? The show must go on, and we still have issues to discuss, whether we're looking at those issues from a governance point of view, from a government point of view, or from a social justice point of view as well. The Situation Room in the studio this morning, Ndru and Dennis with you, and we will have a number of conversations. One that I know is grabbing the world. Indeed, and I said the world, yes I did. Grabbing the world by storm is exactly what is happening with labor issues around the country. But before we get to that, we will have a conversation around the budget 2025 due to be delivered to Kenyans in about a month and a half. And people are already starting to ask the question, where are we going? That the Finance Bill 2024 was dropped after much public protest, and that we saw that maybe some parts of it came back. I beg your pardon, 2025 was dropped.
Yes.
So now we're looking at the Finance Bill 2025-2026, and is the common wananchi on the table. Diana Gishengo, who is the Executive Director of TISA, which is the Institute of Affairs. I keep forgetting that word. But TISA, I'll come back to you in a minute on what S is. Edna, you know what S is, Jamini, in TISA. The S in TISA is what? Ooh-wee. It always slips my mind, but I'll come back to you on that. But Diana Gishengo will share that information with us. The Institute of Social Accountability, thank you very much. That's what it is. And she joins us at 7 o'clock, and we'll be looking at what this new budget, from all the projections, which, by the way, started in September, what it actually means and where will Kenyans be on this budget. And then at 8 a.m. until 10, the Cabinet Secretary for Labour and Social Protection is Dr. Alfred Mutua. He's going to join us, and we're going to be talking about the impact of labour migration. There are many questions that are being asked by many a Kenyan today about what is actually happening with jobs. And these jobs, many of them outside Kenya, for people who may have paid money. Well, look, the story goes on and on and on already. And so he'll join us at 8 o'clock, and we'll have those conversations with him. We can already see that you're trickling into the room today. Our live streams are up on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. And even as we say hello to you in just a short while, just keep coming in. Let us know where you're tuned in from, and let's get these conversations going. They're important to do. We are still in Tunisia, Dennis.
Yes, we are in Tunisia, a country in the Maghreb region of Africa, the northern part of the continent. And it is a country that is known for many fasts. Now, remember that the Arab Spring origin, the 2011 revolution, Tunisia sparked a wider Arab Spring movement, and we know the changes that came with that, as well as Tunisia is considered the first and most successful democracy to emerge from the Arab Spring. And under UNESCO, Tunisia has 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
8 in one country, that's
World
amazing.
Heritage Sites. And Sidi Bou Said, it's a picturesque way. Hey.
You said picturesque. My God.
Picturesque, blue and white coastal town, popular with tourists and artists.
It's beautiful, actually.
Very beautiful. I think we should one day just take the proverb of the day outside, in one of these places, you know what I mean? And today's proverb: a lie's rope is short, a truth's rope is long.
Very short and very quick, isn't it? What is it that said? A lie is halfway around the world before the truth gets a chance to put on its shoes. But it doesn't last long, because the truth then it goes longer, and eventually it comes out. A lie will be short, it will be quick, but the truth will come out and it will spend its time really
as well as just maintaining a lie is the most difficult thing.
It is very hard.
A truth is just there.
It is very hard to maintain that. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And it's life at the end of the day.
It is. It is actually.
Truth is life. You know what? Incidentally, that's the exact meaning of my name. Ezio Kubundu. Truth is life. That's my full name. For everybody who wanted to know, my full name is not Ndu. It's a short form. Ezio Kubundu. That's my full name. Ezio Ku is truth. Ndu is life. Ezio Kubundu.
Ezio Kubundu.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My second name is Ifoma. Ifoma is... you want to know what it means?
What does it mean?
A beautiful thing or a good thing.
Why?
Oma. That's how we say otutu oma. Good. Ifoma. I'm an informer.
Ezio Kubundu. Ifoma.
Ifoma. The E is actually silent.
Ifoma. Nice.
Merci. So yes, c'est la vie, and that's who I am. There are a number of, so that's interesting. A lie's rope is short, and a truth's rope is long. I like it. I like it very much. Let's see what folks have to say about that.
They just say picturesque though.
You said picturesque. We will never forget it. We will never forget it. We will never forget that you actually said picturesque. The people it's actually a French word.
Oh.
So the people who came up with the language, they're rolling over in their graves right now because you said picturesque. But it is okay, we understand. It is before 7 o'clock, it's before coffee.
Yeah.
You know, we get it.
It's okay. Lugha mzungu. Blend the mzungu.
Rahim Tula Omar is tuned in this morning and says, good morning, folks. How is it in Colchester in the UK? Good morning. Don Sabo says, let's just have the president sitting in parliament. The parliament has proved it cannot stand on its own. Why is that? Robert Bogo is tuning in this morning from Mombasa. Don Sabo says today. Okay, we're saying today again. Desmond Ortiz is Spice. Hi. When Kenyans threw a shoe at the president, they wanted him to be in their shoes. Okay. Deno Eddie, Ndu, and Saseni. Oh, Mark Bichachi is not here this morning, but I'm trying to understand. Okay, so you're greeting us. Sawa. Hilary Ogeto says good morning, tuning in from Sydney. And Don Sabo said, today what happened for us online? What happened for you? What happened, Don? Ask questions clear so we can understand. Amma? All right. Okay, so there was a bit of a technical issue. Sorry about that, guys. We're just getting back into things. Like I told you, Edna was doing somersaults behind here, but that's all been sorted out now. Live streams are up. They're running. So, keep coming into the room. Poleni Sana about that little hang up in the morning. Sarah Kilonzo says, good morning, Spice. It's another day. We sympathize and move on. This thing that we are doing of sympathizing and moving on. Okay. Angor Chamgay, my beautiful people tuned in from Nairobi, and you say it's chilly. Okay, sure. It's a little bit chilly this morning, but it's nice. No? Nemian Movic says, good morning. Listening clearly from Keses. Where's Keses, by the way?
Keses is Wasingishu County.
It's in Wasingishu.
Yeah, it is former MP Mishra's constituency.
Ah, voilà.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually went to school close to Keses, so they have a dam. It's close to Moi University main campus.
Ah, boy, I see. Moi, okay. Alex Kasaki is tuned in this morning from Kangemi. Rose Grace is tuned in from Chamu and says, Sikunjama, dear ones, thank you so much, my sister. Leo says, hello, Princess Ndu, good morning. Aseto Mark is in absentia. If Kenya had a working system, we wouldn't be fighting for NGCDF, GAF, bursary. There are a stopgap to a failed system, leadership and bad governance. Leo, I absolutely agree.
Agreed.
I agree with you. All these things are seeing people fighting. You think they're fighting because they want to now ensure there's development in the area? No.
You could imagine if national government would just deliver and members of National Assembly and the Senate would just oversight and ensure that the funds being spent.
Shikinan.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's that simple.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Even speaking Hausa. My goodness. Bwangi Juma says, good morning, SpiceFM guys. Hope you're okay today. The rich also cry. I'm telling you, they do. There used to be a telenovela that went on for years. Oh my goodness. I just remember my aunties watching it. The rich also cry. That was a telenovela that came out of Spain. Something like that. Then they say, you know what? Beef up the president's security then. You're going to spend some money on his whatever anyway. You might as well beef up his security. You don't want people throwing shoes at him. It's how about
he just stays in office and work?
Somebody said, you know what? You know how we would have avoided this thing?
Yeah.
If the president was actually sitting in his office working, then you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Okay, sour. John Gishuki, good morning, bro. Good to have you in the room. Erica War is tuned in this morning. Jose Mahinda says, good morning, Spice team. What happened? Just forget and move on. What are you even talking about? People have moved on, by the way. Desmond says, stealing a village's drum is easy, but finding a peaceful place to beat it is hard. Indeed, it is. Zoning Ndu, I think you meant morning. I'm just trying to see if M and Z are in the same place in the keyboard. They are not, but maybe you were making up a word. Okay. You say, just so you know, I have not moved on, and neither have many people. That is true. Good morning, my first hour. I am always here. Jimmy Minuthi, good to have you in the room always. Stanlius Oziani says, good morning, good people. Starnsless, sorry. Brian Aboga says, good morning, Spice. In Meru, we are in. Jimmy Gakio says, we're tuned in. SpiceFM, Yemen, Tuko. Good morning to you. Ongani Malala says, good morning, Dennis. Everybody's being greeted. How is CT doing? Getting better. He'll be here soon. I like yesterday's discussion on public speaking. It was an absolutely amazing conversation.
I agree.
I went through the whole day still reeling from, just the nuggets that were shared and stuff that we can continue having conversations around.
True. Really important.
We take them for granted a lot of the time, but bringing them into the fore, I think, is important. It was great. Absolutely. Cyrus King says, good morning. Say hi to Salome. I introduce you to nice people, and then now you want me to start greeting them. I will hide them from you now. I will not be bringing them out. Akinedna Salome, I will not talk about them again. I wouldn't even tell you other ones that exist. Sawa, we just behave ourselves. Stanley Ngashe says, good morning from Juja. Kilimambogo View, you guys are an example of business continuity planning. Even with a man down, the show goes on. Keep it up. Asante Sana, bro. Eugene Odhiambo says, good morning, wonderful people. Oyawe Uru. Oyaure. Then you say Ahinya.
Yes.
Okay. Greetings and listening in from Kikuyu. This is Eugene Odhiambo. Morris Andati says, good morning, everybody. Carol Nyambura, we see you. Unatupenda, tunakupenda pia, my sister. Wilfred Odhiambo says, good morning, my country people. All signs are out that Kenyans have learned nothing from previous mistakes regarding the electing leaders due to emotions. It's very sad.
Very.
Hesbon Sidon says, good morning today. Tuned in, Simba Aseto, Princess Ndu, CS Edna, Edna, CS. The proverb, the truth to come through, it needs patience in the long run. Wow. I'll tell you. Yeah. Wait, let me just finish greeting people. But that is very true. I just went through a situation where I sat there and I wanted to tell my truth. But in the moment where other things were being said, I had to keep quiet. And still till now, I've had to be silent. But I realized the truth, it might take long. But it will come out.
It will. Eventually does.
It will. Good morning from H-Town, says Michael Muya. Andrew Mark is tuned in. 96.0 is off air. Do something. Oh, woo-wee. Okay, we'll see. Gypsy Corner says he likes the meaning of my name. Thank you so much. And says hi to young Dennis. How old do these people think you are, Dennis?
I'm just 30. It's fine.
It's okay, but you're in that age group.
It's okay.
Ali Ado says, good morning, Spice, tuned in from 001. It's Tudor here. Good morning to you. And King Dave Lubale says, good morning, great ones. Why Ruto is leading an early campaign with government resources?
Good question.
It's a good one.
Good question.
Donald,
campaigns are usually official campaign period starts. Is it 6 months to the
supposedly?
Election? Yes, supposedly. Yeah.
You look at other countries, it's according to the law.
Yeah.
You don't campaign before or after the period that has been stipulated for campaigns. True. You could actually be penalized as political parties or candidates if you campaign after. In fact, it's a done thing.
But you see, when you are in a country where court decisions are considered to be academic, and not law, what else do you expect?
It's true. What do you expect? Kweli.
Yeah.
Donald is saying, good morning, CT. Mark, question. Si tumekuambia. CT is not feeling well. Mark amenda kufanya vitu zake. But, we'll continue. And For Life says, good morning from Siokimao. Mugula Chengenye says, Ndu mambo vipi. Uko salama. Salama. Everybody's here and very happy to be here. Balozi, sasa ni nini? Twende nalo pole pole. Serega already locked in. Single ladies, how is the cold taking you? Oh, good morning, sir. We see you. Good to have you in the room today. And our folks who are tuned in this. Oh, waongeze kila kitu lakini wasiguze siku ya mwizi. Ui.
Siku ya mwizi ni ngapi?
40. Yeah. Alibaba and the 40 thieves. One day.
Yeah, but you know what they really mean with that, usiongeze?
Usiongeze nini?
I think he's alluding to the election date. Please don't try push it.
Don't push it, eh? Yeah. It is where it is.
It is where it is.
Always good to have you guys in the room every morning. As we get into the conversation, we see you trickling in. Keep coming in, as these conversations are important that we all have them together. Let's take a look into the headlines and then we'll come back and look into these stories in the details. I will start off with Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. Haiti, dead or alive? There is a picture of one of the officers who's out in Haiti actually trying to maintain peace, law and order. The National Police Service has failed to provide answers to a family in Kiambu desperately seeking closure over their missing relative. A police officer among the 600 deployed to Haiti, while the police cling to outdated codes of silence. Haiti's transitional government has already confirmed the death of the Kenyan officer. Meanwhile, distressing images circulating on social media continue to torment the grieving family. Okay, we're going to get into the details of the story, obviously, but it should seem pretty cut and dry. Is he dead or is he alive?
Yes.
If the Haitian authorities say he's dead and you've confirmed it here in Kenya, what would you do in terms of bringing him back home, like you did with the first one?
True.
Or is there some other kind of controversy surrounding this? We'll look into the details of that story. Ruto hands Mau Forest to Narok. Well, okay, how's that for handing something back to them that actually is theirs? On the first day of his 3-day visit to Narok, President Ruto met with governors over the Ma counties and pledged to hand over the Mau Forest title deed to Narok County. My question is, who had it in the first place? But okay. Looking at some more headlines this morning. Rights suspects in court how face masks disguises threaten justice. That's a big one, and I'm going to look into that. People coming to, sometimes when people are arrested and then they are arraigned in court and they're wearing a hoodie or they're wearing a face mask or things like this. How can you be sure it's actually the person that you're dealing with? And that's what this story is looking at. KNH offers hope to amputees with key surgery. You guys, you know what? I'm going to take a minute here because most times we talk about the fact that, the hospitals are failing and the public system is in a dragnet. There are actually life-changing, huge developmental surgeries that take place at Kenyatta National Hospital, and that the surgeons behind this are actually doing, the word I'm looking for escapes me every time, but phenomenal work is being done that's actually saving lives.
True.
It was at Kenyatta National Hospital that a baby was removed. It's called interterm. There's a phrase for it, but this baby was removed. Her heart was worked on. She was put back into her mother, and then she lived till full term when now she was birthed. That happened at Kenyatta.
I remember even the first. I think it was. When the conjoined twins, the surgery that happened as well in this country as well. Yeah,
it happens. It's just unfortunate that the system structure around all of this then makes us complain about things all the time. Yeah. And then we tend to forget that there are skilled, brilliant men and women behind or who hold the knife, who do some, life-changing things on people.
Look at it this way. With the issues that we have in the healthcare system, remember that services are still being rendered with the challenges that are there. Therefore, the country is healthier based off the brilliant men and women delivering these services.
It's true.
If only the system would come and support them.
Can you imagine what you could do?
Better.
You could imagine what you do. Okay, you want to look into the nation, then I can come back to the business daily.
All right, so the jobs puzzle, big conversation in 2025. The economy created the fewest jobs since the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, according to the 2024 economic survey, which also revealed the slowest growth rate since COVID-19 disruption. But it is the finding by the government survey that jobs in the construction sector reduced last year that has cast doubt on the credibility of the high creation figures top officials have routinely attributed to the affordable housing program. Affordable housing program, we've been told, was a key factor in job creation, but based off a government report, that sector has seen what? Jobs go down.
You said you were going to build 250,000 houses a year. Okay, so let's not say 2022 was a year. Forget it, because, came in, did things, people were busy. 2023, did we build 250,000 units?
No.
It came and went. 2024, 250,000 units?
Have you seen any?
Oh, okay. We're 2025. We should have been at 750,000 by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Why teachers are still stuck with Minet for medical cover. Although the contract for the provision of the medical insurance between the Teacher Service Commission and Minet Kenya is set to expire on November 30th, previous tender advertisements have failed to attract other qualified service providers to cover more than 1 million individuals under the scheme. Are you shocked why others don't want to bid? Well, monies are not being remitted. Yeah, IEBC 2027 election manager selected. President William Ruto received names of nominees from the panel that interviewed candidates for electoral commissioners. He is required to, within 7 days, pick the final nominees and submit the list to the National Assembly for approval. Names of 32 recruitment agencies banned by government. That is a revelation in page 5. And the cardinals congregate in Rome to elect the 267th Pope. Our very own John Njue did not make it due to health concerns. But, well, the cardinals...
How old is John Njue?
He's 79.
He's 79, so he have to be under 80 to then be considered.
He could have gone, but based off reports that I've seen is he could not travel due to health conditions and situations. Yeah, so
the conclave begins.
Yes.
And in less than 2 weeks, we should see white smoke.
Yep.
We'll see what happens with that. Let's take you through the Star on the front page. Missing voices, disappearances rise as police dodge plea. Let me tell you something. If there's something that's heavy on my heart in this moment, it's the lackluster, engagement that we see to find people who've disappeared over time. It has to be sorted out. How the Vatican makes smoke signal. You might want to know that. It was a little bit of an interesting thing. And KNH performs unique surgery on student with amputated hand. It just goes to that story that we're talking about again. That these things are happening. And you know what? The doctors that we are seeing, they're Kenyan doctors.
Yes.
Dr. Christine Nyabuto. We also then do have a reconstructive surgeon who is not Kenyan, but he was also here, but working with a Kenyan doctor. Yeah. These things are actually happening here. And then the big story on the front page of the Star, Matiang'i Ruto mark 2027 turn in top job race. We're also looking at, high interest rates, lack of jobs hit the economy. This is going to be interesting because these are some of the issues that we'll be speaking with the CS Alfred Mutua about in terms of job creation. That falls right on the doorstep of the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection. So we'll look into that when he joins us at 8 o'clock. Let's also look quickly at the Business Daily. Real wages shrink for 5th consecutive year. It's been going down in terms of what people do for jobs, but beyond that, what people earn while at these jobs. Bata loses Toffee's trademark and design fights a rival Umoja. So those are going to continue doing that for some time. 5 banks failed to cut loan rates as CBK threatens fines. What do you mean fails to? They just decided not to. It's a thing. It's a directive. The central bank is the regulatory body of financial institutions in the country. Central bank has said we're going to lower the base lending rate to a certain number. All banks are supposed to fall in line. What are you doing, twiddling your thumbs? Lower the thing and let's move on.
Another question of failing to. I mean, again, we learn from the best. Decisions are always disrespected in this country from the highest officers. What do you expect?
My goodness.
It's the snowball effect that no one ever sits to think about.
Lower the thing.
Yeah.
Lower it.
Because it's your regulator who's given an order.
Then you decide to play it and make some money in the interim. Then now you lower it later. Come on, guys. We can do better. We really can. Doesn't really matter. Whether we're working in the private or public sector, we can actually do better. For now, let's take a break and see what traffic and weather are doing, right? And then we will come back and look at some of these stories in detail. Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room, continues after this. It's now 24 minutes to 7.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This May, the stage is set, the mic is on, and the search begins. Welcome to Next Superstar.
From raw vocals to big talent, the search is on for Africa's next hit maker. Next Superstar is here. Premiering May 3rd at 8 p.m. exclusively on Remo TV Plus, StarTimes Channel 56 or Channel 166. Buy a DTT StarTimes decoder for only 1,399 bob or a DTH for 3,199 shillings to enjoy unlimited entertainment. Join judges Size 8, King Kaka, Motive, and hosted by Amina and Butita on Next Superstar. Renew your subscription on DTH Smart Bouquet at 1,199 shillings only or DTT Basic Bouquet at 749 shillings only. You can dial *858# for self-service or call our customer care on 0730 710077. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
The weather with SpiceFM.
Partly sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning at 16. We'll see highs of 22, and it's sunny at 16 into Nakuru. Cloudy at 16 in Nyeri, while Eldoret is cloudy at 15. Mombasa is cloudy at 24, going to highs of 28, while it's raining ever so lightly in Malindi, currently at 25. It's 20 and cloudy into Kisumu with highs of 26, while in Kakamega at 17, it's cloudy, going to highs of 24. Light rain in Kampala at 18, while Dar es Salaam is cloudy at 24. It's clear at 11 in Johannesburg, while at 26, Mogadishu is sunny. Addis Ababa is cloudy at 14. Mostly clear at 28 in Lagos, with light rain showers at 23 in Kinshasa. 21 and sunny going into Wednesday afternoon in Beijing. It's 8 degrees and cloudy in Paris and 7 degrees and cloudy into London. Tuesday night in New York is clear at 15. Coming into Wednesday, highs of 18 and lows of 14.
Spice FM. Spice up your life. Traffic.
All right, a busy Tuesday morning, rather Wednesday morning, and traffic is building, coming on the Thika Superhighway in from Garden City and beyond that, Kasarani out towards Survey. Busy here. It's also busy as you come off of Kiambu Road. Some traffic this morning on Kangunda Road in and outbound, and also starting to get really busy on the Eastern Bypass. Traffic also coming in towards the Cabanas interchange from Mombasa Road is busy this morning, and it's starting to look like a bumper-to-bumper situation. A bit of a snuggle there. Let's see what happens later. It's also quite snug as you enter onto James Gishuru, crossing over towards Wayaki Way. And on Ngong Road, there is some traffic as you approach Naivasha Road, coming out towards Gitanga Road at the junction. So that's what it looks like now. We're getting into traffic hour. We'll look at those details as we do. Spice FM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, 21 minutes to 7 o'clock. This story about whether this gentleman who serves as a police officer right now in the deployment to Haiti, a bit worrying in terms of what's happening with him and where he is. There are 600 police officers. First batch of 400 left for Haiti on the 25th of June 2024. Interestingly enough, the day things erupted here in the country with protests. The second batch of 200 officers left on the 15th of July, just a month later. Now, 1,000 is the number of officers to Haiti that has been approved for deployment by Parliament, and that happened in November 2023. Now, according to the Haiti Transitional Government, this is what they said. The Presidential Transitional Council deplores the death of the Kenyan soldier in Saviem. These valiant police officers engaged alongside Haitian forces in the fight against insecurity, made the ultimate sacrifice for a better future for our country. His bravery and commitment will never be forgotten. This comes from the transitional government in Haiti.
Yes.
They have acknowledged that this gentleman has passed on. Douglas Kanja, who is the Inspector of Police in Kenya early last month, says, "The search is still on for the unaccounted officer, and all efforts are being made to ensure we find him. I want to assure the family of the missing officer that we are doing everything possible and we are going to bring him back." So it's one question. Where is he? Because if the Haitian transitional government is saying that he's dead, they must have seen proof of this.
Evidence, yeah.
Yeah, to show that he's so. And then on this side, if you're saying that you're still looking for him, the question is, where are you looking for him?
Because the question is, the Haitian government is making that decision, or Based off what? Do they have custody of the body? Do they have evidence to corroborate what it is they're saying? Because then again, the Kenyan administration would say, we cannot make assumptions because we do not have custody of the body and we do not have proof of death or whatever, so...
I don't think anybody would be so reckless as to say or to offer their commiserations over the death if they were not sure of it.
Yeah.
That's a big faux pas for you to say something like that if you were not sure. But then to come later and say that he's still being looked for, then it seems it's a bit iffy, because what does that...
Because then again, remember that the security assistance that Kenya is doing that in collaboration with the Haitian police officers. I
don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
So Haitian police officers in extension is Haitian government, which is now speaking. So does it mean that Kenyan police is refusing? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all about protocol issues on that matter that we're not being told of.
Well, I mean, as callous as it sounds, is he either dead or not?
Yes, it's that simple, really.
Yeah, his body's been identified or not. And I don't know now why we need to make another, riddle circus
and you see, there is the aspect of the photos that are doing online as well, which are equally communicating and perhaps collaborating what the Haitian government is saying.
Yeah.
So the question is, why the delay from the Kenyan government? Because then again, the family is traumatized because your loved one's images being paraded online is not an easy thing.
Hey, but it's not at all. Anybody, and then that person is the one that you love, or is loved by you, and then they're telling you that he's dead, and then you come on, no, no. We can do better.
We can do better.
Next story.
So, IEBC team to oversee 2027 elections have been selected, right? President William Ruto is set to forward the names of nominees for the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission to the National Assembly within 7 days of vetting. On Tuesday, the president received the final list from the IEBC selection panel, marking the end of a protracted and contentious process to reconstitute the electoral body that will oversee the 2027 general election. This morning, I received their report on the recruitment of the nominees for the positions of chairpersons and members of the IEBC from the selection panel at State House, Nairobi, said President Ruto. In accordance with the IEBC Act, I will nominate and transmit the names to the National Assembly in full fidelity to the constitutional principles that guide our system of governance. The 9-member panel, chaired by Dr. Nelson Makanda, interviewed 11 candidates for the post of chairperson and 107 for the 6 commissioner positions. The IEBC Act requires the president to submit the names to Parliament within 7 days. Once approved, he will have another 7 days to formally appoint the chairperson and commissioners. The IEBC has remained paralyzed for over 2 years following the retirement of its former chairperson Ofula Chebukati and commissioners Boya Molu and Abdi Gulie in January of 2023. And even as the president received these names and you expect him to do the needful, there is the aspect of the candidates who, for some weird reason, just appeared in that list without any explanation. It's a matter that continues to hover around the selection panel. We've seen what opposition leaders are now saying about the selection panel and not trusting that it would give the correct leaders of the commission because they feel as though those who are there have been premeditated. Jameen.
It doesn't matter. It's so long, if their own person was there, then it would not be an issue. This is the thing, that we keep playing this, musical chairs, Russian roulette with this thing, that if our person was there, then we don't have a problem. But if our person is not there, then I'm going to be able to use that opportunity to take a swipe at you. Hey, and this all stems from, in my opinion, when you have interested parties forming the referee. It's like 2 teams are playing, like the way Arsenal is playing today. Edna knows what I'm saying, that you have 2 teams playing, and then you take a team member from one team to be the referee, and then you take a team member from the other team to be a linesman. What are we doing? What do you expect is going to happen?
Because they got it all wrong the moment political parties seconded their own people to sit in that panel. Because at the end of the day, is that the musical chair that will be playing that every other time we're selecting IEBC officials, that political parties must have a stake? Because IEBC is a constitutional office that's supposed to serve Kenyans. Where's the interest of Kenyans in that selection panel if it's political parties who are making decisions?
There's a problem.
Yeah, but let's wait and see. I mean, it would be important to see as well at the vetting exercise that would take place again in the National Assembly and how that will be conducted, because in that house is where both sides, politicians representing their bosses, will be speaking.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah.
Let's look at this story about right suspects in court. It's a question. How face masks disguises threaten justice. It's an interesting one. In a growing trend that has sparked concern, a peculiar pattern is taking root where suspects appear in heavy disguises in hoodies, face masks, oversized sunglasses, and even Masai lesos to obscure their identity. I thought it would be to just hide, not to obscure. You don't want the full glare of the public looking at you. It's a walk of shame. It's a moment whereby, okay, you did something wrong and you're on the dock, everybody sees you. But now we're saying something else. What began as a COVID-19 precaution in 2020 has seemingly evolved into a deliberate strategy. Critics warn that this threatens transparency and integrity in the corridors of justice. Monday, 4 men arrested in connection with the assassination of Kasipul MP Ongondowere concealed their faces in court. From murder suspects to fraudsters, more accused individuals are stepping into the dock in layers of concealment. While face coverings were necessary during the pandemic, their continued use has raised urgent questions. According to Mary Wajiko, a robbery victim who was attending court for months, I was told I would see him in court. When he arrived, all I saw was a man in a hoodie, a face mask, and sunglasses. For all I know, that wasn't even the person who attacked me. How am I then supposed to be able to identify? Her complaint echoes those of dozens of other victims who say the disguises not only deny them a sense of justice, but also cast doubt on identity of the people being prosecuted. In the case involving TikToker Rish Kamunge, accused of scamming Kenyans millions through fake overseas job offers, she also appeared in court, masked and hooded. Victims voiced frustration at the police for allowing her to hide her face. This is unacceptable. We cannot identify the lady who conned us out of thousands of shillings pretending she would get us jobs abroad. We demand she removes the mask. And this is the cry that's coming from many people. My question is, why should they cover up their faces in the first place if they're getting into court?
You know, it's like going to an identification parade and you're supposed to identify the person who attacked you, yet they have masks on. It doesn't make any sense. Then again, the justice system is there to ensure that people are able to follow that proceeding. At times, you just need to look straight into the eye of that person and tell them exactly how you feel. But how do you do it when they have dark sunglasses?
If you're covering your identity in any way and you're supposed to be going through an identification process, then it's counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. Doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Because the reason why you are there is to be identified. So it sounds like something that the court would want to take issue with. There's a trend and it's been increasing over time and it goes across courts. Sources within the court system and the police allege the disguises are often supplied not by the suspects themselves but by their lawyers, relatives or even police officers for a fee. It just had to be ranging between 200 and 1,000 shillings. So we can sell you this thing if you want to cover yourself when you're coming into.
But remember, you would go through the entire justice system. Say the matter in court takes 2 years. You are hooded and covered in masks. On the day when you are pronounced innocent, what do? They remove the masks and walk around, right? So at that particular point, everyone can see you. But when you are going through the trial stage in court, you have to hide.
It's the shame factor.
The shame factor.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, people should just get in court. Let us see who you are. What lesson? Will be a lesson to everybody else.
Indeed.
There's a matter we handled yesterday. On CDF.
Okay.
There's a lot that the legal fraternity is saying. Now, MPs have ramped up efforts to entrench the National Government Constituency Development Fund into the constitution despite the courts declaring it unconstitutional. These as law experts faulted the ongoing countrywide public participation exercise on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025, terming it a plot to mutilate the constitution. Although the courts and civil society say the NGCDF funds should be handled by counties, some Kenyans, a majority of whom supporters of their MPs, ferried to hearing venues, opposed plans to have the funds disbursed through county governments. The bill also seeks to entrench the National Government Affirmative Action Fund (NGAF) in the Constitution and introduce the Senate Oversight Fund for senators. Now, these as city lawyers David Ochami, Ndao Musau and Lempa Suyanka said the public participation exercise the MPs are engaging in is a waste of public resources. Why? The Executive and National Assembly have collaborated to retain the so-called NGCDF and an arrangement that defeats the constitutional standards of separation of powers and devolution. Pretty much what the legal fraternity is saying. The Constitution is so clear on separation of powers with regard to NGCDF and NGAF and all that. And that what members of parliament are doing right now is a waste of time because the Constitution is cut out clear on this.
Oh, yawn. I mean, good Lord. Are we looking at a day when the Constitution will actually be followed and that people will actually follow the law, what the law says? Because we've established from time immemorial that the law or the Constitution and the tenets of it seem to just be a suggestion for people. That's okay. It's like something over there. Like, okay, the weather is cloudy today. Maybe I'll carry an umbrella. Okay, so today it looks like this. Maybe we will follow the law, which is a very sad thing.
It is very sad.
Because in many jurisdictions, it goes unsaid. This is what the Supreme Law says. This is what we will do. Anything out of that, we won't. We will just follow what the law says. Why is it so hard?
And you see, there is this aspect of the Constitution that talks about public participation where every bill, every law has to go through that process of public participation. But what is important here is we are being told that now members of parliament who are pushing the agenda are actually taking their supporters into the public participation hearing venues so that their supporters can support it can be part of that the process, public participation. So pretty much it's a question of fine, public participation was held and the people there said yes. But who ferried them?
Exactly.
Members of parliament.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing is, members of parliament know NGCDF is unconstitutional. They're trying to put that into law, but still the Supreme Court of the land is clear. You cannot run away from that fact.
Indeed. KNH, the Kenyatta National Hospital, offers hope to amputees with key surgery, and a moment that I think we need to celebrate here. Kenyatta National Hospital has successfully performed this word. Transhumeral targeted sensory reinnervation. It's called TSR. TSR.
Yo.
I'm telling you, there's something here in the Situation Room. Surgery.
Yeah.
This marks a major breakthrough in the continent's surgical landscape. The procedure, which took place on the 29th of April, restored sensation to the stump of a 22-year-old amputee, Moses Mwenda, following the loss of his left arm. TSR is an advanced surgical technique that reroutes nerves from an amputated limb to remaining skin areas, following the brain to interpret the sensation, including touch and temperature, as if it were coming from the missing limb. My goodness, amazing. The groundbreaking surgery was the highlight of the hospital's first TSR surgical camp, which took place between April 28th and May 2nd. This is not just a surgical first for Kenya, but also for the continent. This is according to Dr. Joel Lesan, who is the head of specialized surgical services at KNH. He added, "We are proud to offer solutions previously only available abroad. This procedure addresses what we call phantom limb pain, where patients feel pain or sensation in a limb that is no longer there." That's amazing, because previously you wouldn't be able to do anything with it because you were not sure. But now you can. Moses Mwendwa, a software engineering student, suffered a serious fall in January that resulted in compartment syndrome, a condition that caused irreversible damage in his arm. After a series of emergency operations, doctors were forced to amputate his dominant arm above the elbow. After the amputation, I kept feeling like my hand was still there, he said. It was painful. I didn't think nerves could be reconnected. But since the surgery, the pain is gone, and I feel like I have my hand back. And that stuff is actually being done here, and I think that's amazing. More surgeries like that to continue.
Goes to speak a lot about our healthcare system in the country, in the sense that if you look at the brilliant things that doctors of this country are doing, even just the brilliance of them showing up with how they're being treated in the country, I mean, it is clearly service to the people. It is, like they say, it is a calling to serve the people.
It is.
If only the powers that be would intentionally invest into the healthcare of the country, ensure that systems that are there do work for the people, and that we don't suffer from brain drain. Because then again, remember what we were told here, was it yesterday, that every other graduation year, nurses get their certificates and all they want is to leave the country.
Yep.
If we only took a little bit more time, invested into this sector, we would have a country whose people are healthier, a country whose people are happy, a country where someone would just wake up one day and say, I'm feeling unwell, I'm going to the hospital, and I know they will serve me right.
Yep. I wish.
That seems not to be a priority.
I just wish we could if we could just do a couple of things right, we would actually see phenomenal changes taking place in this landscape. It would be. I just want to finish the hour with this story that talks about football. Some things we hardly look into. But I think this is an interesting story. It's on the back page of The Nation.
Okay.
And you'll understand my interest in just a minute. It's do or die for Kenya versus Giants Nigeria in the under-21 and under-20 AFCON. Kenya's rising stars face a do or die fixture today against Giants Nigeria in their final 2025 under-20 AFCON Cup of Nations Group B match that takes place in Cairo. The crucial tie will be staged at the June 30th Stadium from 6 p.m. Kenya time. Following defeats to Morocco in their opener and to Tunisia in the second match, Kenyans with a -3 goal difference must now beat 7-time champions Nigeria and hope other results go their way to sneak into the quarterfinals. The top two teams in each of the three groups, along with the two best third-place teams, will advance to the knockout stage. Kenya will need Tunisia to lose in their group to dislodge them from the third spot. As it stands, South Africa, Zambia, Group A, Senegal, and Central African Republic in Group C are in a better position to clinch the two third-place best spots. Countries that reach the semi-final will earn a ticket to the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup that will be held in Chile from September 27th to October 19th. Speaking after Kenya's loss to Tunisia on Monday, Rising Stars assistant coach Anthony Akulia admitted his side underperformed compared to their promising display against Morocco. So that match will be interesting to watch between Kenya and Nigeria. And I wonder who will win.
Well, I know you'll say Nigeria. I
just said I wonder. I said I wonder.
The Giants, and you're drumming that home. But anyway, I wish the boys the very best. You know, it's tough. Really hope that as well investments into our sportsmen and women would actually go in place. Because remember, even the national team, Harambee Stars, do not play games here because they do not have pitches to
proper
do
turf.
that. We don't have proper turf, so we always at a disadvantage because you're playing in other countries. So, you know,
I know, and I keep saying sportsmen and women are some of the best ambassadors for the country. So you want to see how you can make sure that at the very least they have all the resources that they need.
Yeah.
Some of the conversations that we do have right here. We'll continue after 7 o'clock with Diana Gishengo. She will be with us and we'll move into those conversations. Sawa. Morning. 7 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning. This is the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira. 4 filmmakers who were arrested and later released last week in connection with the production of BBC's Blood Parliament documentary have been placed in an undisclosed location for their safety. Nicholas Wambugu, Brian Adagala, Mark Kariubiu and Christopher Wamai presented themselves at the headquarters of the Director of Criminal Investigations on Tuesday. Their lawyers, led by Gloria Kimani, told reporters that no charges were formally leveled against them.
Even them summoning today, it's against their liberty. They are in a constant state of being summoned in the police, coming, so they have no freedom. They have not been given any court date, and we are calling against that, and we are asking the director, to look at what is causing the families and to release those boys.
At the same time, Amnesty International Executive Director Irungu Houston demanded return of the filmmakers' work equipment confiscated during their arrest.
We came to the DCI to essentially establish, is there a case against these 4 individuals? We have been told there is no case. They have not been summoned. There is no warrant of arrest for them. So therefore, we are now making the call for them to have their property released back to them so that they can continue doing what they do, which is essentially to make independent films.
The families of the filmmakers, led by Kariubiu's mother, Helen Mushira, demanded they be released unconditionally.
We have the anxiety and our hearts are heavy because we don't know, because you are used to talking to your child every time. So there is no that freedom as a mother. And I have that cry. We have cried a lot from Friday.
In the documentary Blood Parliament, the BBC identified members of the security forces who shot dead anti-finance bill protesters at Parliament last June. A BBC spokesperson has since clarified that the 4 filmmakers were not involved in the production of the documentary. A memorial service for Kasipul MP Charles Were is expected to take place today at the Consolata Shrines Church in Westlands ahead of his burial service on Friday. Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma made the announcement on Tuesday when MPs led by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula visited Were's family.
His Honorable Speaker, I can confirm to you they have done a very good job so far. The time is very short. The arrangements are that we will go for the Requiem Mass and then we will transport the Honorable Were home, and then on Friday, which will be 9th May, we will inter the body.
Meanwhile, Kariobangi North MCA Joel Munuve, who died last month, will also be laid to rest on Friday at his home in Zeluni village in Kitui County. His family said they are satisfied with the autopsy report, which found that he died due to a blood clot.
Tulipata kwa postmortem, tulikumbali na tukaridhika kabisa, huko tukiongozwa na Mama Recho ambaye ni mama yake mheshimiwa.
Na sisi kama kanisa, ama mimi kama mchungaji wa hiyo kanisa, sisi tuko tayari kwa mazishi ambayo itakuwa tarehe 9 mwezi wa 5.
Na kama watu wa Kitui na Mwingi West tumepoteza sana.
Na kwa wakati huu tunaungana na familia ambayo imeamua kukubali matokeo ya Mwenyezi Mungu.
Donald Trump said the US would stop attacking the Houthis in Yemen because the group had capitulated as Oman confirmed a ceasefire had been reached with the Iran-backed group for it to stop targeting shipping in the Red Sea. He was speaking alongside Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney in the White House.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight, and we will honor that. And we will stop the bombings, and they have capitulated. But more importantly, we will take their word. They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore, and that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that.
The Houthis began attacking shipping passing through the Red Sea in solidarity with the Palestinians in Gaza, who've been under bombardment by the Israeli military since the Palestinian armed group Hamas attacked Israeli communities in October 2023. The US stepped up airstrikes on the Houthis in March, and the US military says it has struck 1,000 targets in Yemen since then. That's the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira.
Spice FM. Nakuru. Traffic.
All right, let's take a look at what it looks like with traffic on the roads this morning. Coming in on the Thika Superhighway, pretty heavy traffic as you come in all the way from Githurai, finding your way through towards the Allsops Junction and then out towards Survey. Very busy here. It's also busy as you come in then from Kiambu Road. Some traffic, it's way beyond the DCI headquarters right about now. So wondering why that's already heavy so early. Traffic on Kangunda Road is in and outbound, and there's heavy traffic coming in on the Eastern Bypass. Coming through that Kangunda Road, Ruai Junction, so that's going to be busy from all that we can see. So far already it's starting to pile up. It's piling up on Gong Road, getting out towards the city. It's also coming in heavy from Kikuyu Road through towards Naivasha Road. So we're already starting to look like we're in traffic hour. There's traffic on Langata Road, some of that coming off of Magadi Road, finding its way then through towards Uhuru Gardens. And then you'll find yourself at Aerodrome Road. Traffic everywhere you look. And also as you come off of Waiaki, we'll probably see more of that as we get through the morning. We're going to keep an eye on all of this and are trying to keep things moving. Talk to us so that we can do just that. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right. Getting in at 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. A very good morning to you. And as you join us in the room today, we're getting into the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this morning. And you know what? We want to be real for a minute. And we're asking ourselves, you know what? Mums, they are superheroes, aren't they? From sunrise to well past bedtime, they're doing a million things. Nurturing, guiding, comforting, feeding, and somehow still remembering where you left your charger. So this Mother's Day, we're giving it up for all the mums. The stylish ones, the soft-hearted ones, and yes, the comfy ones too. So we're saying Woolworths is helping us celebrate her in the best way possible with 30% off of women's knitwear and sleepwear now until the 11th of May. So you have some days to do this. What am I talking about? Okay, whether your mum lives in her signature knit cardigans or sweaters or swears by her soft pajamas after a long day, Woolies has something that's just so her. And the best part, the pieces aren't just beautiful, they're built for comfort, elegance, and that effortless Woolworths quality. So if you're thinking of what to do for mum this year, why not let her unwrap a little warmth and softness? Head to your nearest Woolworths store and give her something that says you deserve to relax in style. Woolworths, the difference. And that's what we can do for Mother's Day as we get towards that day in May. Sawa? That's what we're going to do. This hour, we're going to ask a question about whether the budget 2025-2026 has the common mwananchi on the table. We are going to do that with the help of one Diana Gishenga, who is the Executive Director of the Institute of Social Accountability, otherwise known as TISA. Diana, good morning.
Good morning.
How have you been?
I'm very, very well. It's Mother's Day.
Soon.
Oh, soon. I was wondering, clearly this mother is very lost.
You don't worry. Because I've told them they're thinking of you and they're probably going to do something for you from Woolies. So they had better do something.
Yeah.
Woolies has given them an answer. So you'll probably be in some kind of soft comfort soon. Worry not.
They actually have very good offers right now.
You see?
Up to 50%.
30%, yeah.
Wow.
30% off. So that's
awesome.
what it's going to be done for you. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not done, just come and tell me.
Okay, I'll report them.
Yes.
We'll know where to go.
Diana, karibu sana. We're going to be looking at a number of issues for which you've obviously been vocal about. Coming off of last year, we did see that you attended, you spoke in many a forum whereby the thing was that we look at the aftermath of Kenyans' desires and needs being spoken.
Yeah.
But we forget what the original issues were.
Yes.
And so those are some of the things that we'll be talking about this morning. Before we get into it, Dennis is going to welcome you today with a proverb, and he'll tell you where it's from, and then we'd like your interpretation of that.
So our proverb today comes from Tunisia, whose capital is Tunis, right? And it's a country of about 11.8 million people and some change. And they share a maritime border with Italy through the islands of Sicily and Sardinia, and it's known for its souks. It's souks now. Souks is a market in Tunisia where you go enjoy their cuisine. So there's food there. There is all about their ornament. Their metalwork is really beautiful. The culture that they have, their clothing, everything you need to do is you find it in the souks. And today, our proverb is all about the truth and the lie. And it goes like this. A lie's rope is short. A truth's rope is long. What do you make of it?
Lies collapse very, very easily. Truth, and unfortunately, in today's world, you stay with the truth for a long time, so it's long, but also getting people to see the truth takes longer, a very, very long time. So you're walking with that rope, crossing whether it's a stream or a river, for a very, very that's what I would read from Tunis.
Well put.
It takes a long time to get there, but it's
finally you will know the truth.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I mean, you would want to assume it, but it will always be there for people to see. Yeah.
So, Diana, we're coming off of almost a year after the Finance Bill 2024-2025 protests that took place in June last year. June 25th would make it a year since we saw probably the most deliberated and then thereafter acted upon, engaged with Finance Bill that Kenya has probably ever seen.
Yeah.
As a result of that, many things happened. There was loss of life. People were taken. We don't know where they are till date.
Yeah.
People are still reeling from the effects of it, isn't it? But then, even with that, the issues that were real in 2024 are still real in 2025.
Like the truth rope.
The truth rope.
Yeah.
Exactly. Still finding its way around the world.
Yeah.
And September is the month that the budget process, essentially really kicks off for the next year. And so people are crunching the numbers. They're seeing what can we do, where can we go. One would have expected that even as those numbers were being crunched, that the Mwananchi were taken into consideration when the new things would come into play. You, of course, have done your due diligence as Tisa and as Diana so far to see what is or is not protecting Kenyans. Are we going to see a mirror of 2024-2025 in this fiscal year?
To be honest, there isn't much hope in the budget process. I could start with what has maybe improved. The education sector seems to have an increase in there's allocation, curiously, for infrastructure to build CBC or CBE classrooms and TVET institutions as well. And this is one of the sector where the government, and I think largely supported by UNICEF, so even children participate in the budget process. So there's an increase. I'm not sure whether it's the problem of classrooms and whether somebody has conducted an audit. In this country, whenever you hear infrastructure, you're not very sure where we are going. But clearly, it had been indicated that we have a problem of JSS and now senior school.
Yes.
But we are not starting a new schooling curriculum.
No.
We've always had education structures in this country. But to the credit, if they listened to the children, there's going to be more CBC classrooms. There is more TVET institutions that are to be constructed. Again, a government that does not listens. If you're government, you have an advantage. You know the entire household of Kenya. So all these universities had opened satellite campuses that have been shut. The same infrastructure was built using taxpayers' money. It's about to be shut down. Why build new ones when nearly every county had an arm of one university or the other? So when we say consolidation, that is the type of consolidation we are discussing. that probably we expanded our universities without having thought through the process properly. Now we need more institutions for technical skills. Time to shift. And the same way there has to be an audit of municipalities and city councils, all that, when we moved from a centralized system of government to a devolved system of government. That is what I would have hoped happened. But all we see is allocation. Other than that, let me just get to whether this is a Mwananchi budget.
Yes.
One of the things that will be flaunted in our faces is that the Office of the President has reduced its budget from 100 billion to 5 billion. Okay?
Sorry.
Okay? And if you just go look for Office of the President, that budget voted, you will be like, wow.
How so?
The line reads previously, it would be one line, 100 billion. Now it is 5.5 billion. But it's been broken down to several state departments.
Okay.
These include, let's just go through them to see whether Mwananchi and whether these people are listening when we tell them, please let us live according to the size of our wallet, our earnings, we are straining. So it's been split to the Office of the President, Office of the Deputy President, State House. It also has the Office of the Spokesperson of Government.
How many though?
One. And it also has the State Corporation of Advisory Committee. Okay? Now, let me just give you one example.
Okay.
Last year, this government spokesperson, who is still under this Office of the Presidency, their subsistence budget was, subsistence and travel was 19.2
What?
billion.
Okay.
Sorry. We're going to have to go slow because, it's still early and maybe some of the things we don't understand. Diana, when you say subsistence, from my understanding, it's eating, drinking,
hospitality,
sleeping, entertainment, things like that. We're not talking about work where you pay workers to do things.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's okay, fine.
It had 19 billion.
Okay.
And that's for the Office of the Spokesperson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we've decided this year the budget is really tight. The spokesperson needs to travel more.
Okay.
And tell Kenyans budget is really tight. The budget has gone up to 36 billion.
That's almost double.
Yes.
Make that make sense.
Okay. That's for domestic travel. For foreign travel, it's grown from 5.5 billion to 7.3 billion.
Okay. This is all in a time where we are saying austerity measures, cut your cloth according to your size. Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
We've not even discussed State House and that there is still an allocation for a facelift.
Okay.
You have the State Corporation of Advisory Committee that has salaries. Part of what Kenyans led by Gen Z said is do away with the advisors. Reduce the size of the cabinet. And the president said, I'm going to halve them. But every week, if not every month, if not every week, there are new appointments. Most recently, I think the notable one has been the Professor of Law, Constitutionalism and Human Rights and Democracy, Professor Makau Mutua.
Yes.
And there, that particular department has an allocation for salaries of 24 billion.
So the advisor then will have an office.
Yes. Advisors.
The advisors now have their office and their staff and etc. etc.
At 24 billion.
That's for salaries.
Yes, that's close to amounts that are allocated to a judiciary.
Yes.
Now, the SRC requires that if you are holding a public office, your allowances should not exceed 50% of your salary. But this particular department has a salary allocation of 33.2 billion. Okay? Very Mwananchi.
It's very Mwananchi focused, isn't it, this one?
How much?
33.2.
33.2
billion. This is allowances.
Yes.
This is allowances in this same office where the salaries are 24 billion.
Yes, for advisors. Advisory services.
I'm going to say this slowly so that we're not making a mistake.
Okay.
That we know the budgeting process starts around there September, right?
Yes.
So all of these things are put into place. Now, when you do the budget, is now when you're putting in these lines that you speak of, that somebody says, well, you know what? We've got this advisory committee and we've got X number of people and they have their offices and such.
Yeah.
And over the next 1 year, it's likely that they're going to need to travel. You know, they need to go get advice in order to come advise kind of thing.
Yeah.
That they're going to need to travel. We got to pay them salaries, etc.
Yeah.
And it's possible that the president would appoint yet another advisor.
Yeah.
So we need to pay them a salary. And that's when we mark the 24. The 24 billion comes from them.
Yes.
It is not recommended for them. They're the ones who say we're going to need 24 billion to pay salaries.
Yes.
They're also the ones who come out and say, well, in terms of allowances, travel, subsistence, we're going to have to eat, take people out for dinner kind of thing. Collectively, over the next 1 year, we're going to need 33 billion shillings to do this.
Yes.
They are the ones who suggest this number. They put it out.
True.
The folks who crunch the numbers, they put it in the line.
Yeah. And I'm told usually they would have suggested a higher number.
Okay.
Then Treasury rationalizes and decides Kenyans are in pain.
Okay.
Your figure is too high. Let's keep it at 33 billion.
So let me just ask.
Okay.
You say the previous budget there was an allocation of 100 billion shillings to the presidency.
Office of the
of the president.
Yeah, it's actually the presidency because
right?
it's all those. And it has been a shift, I think, for two budgets because we moved from. There was a declaration that we are moving to performance-based budget.
Okay.
So that's when we don't have a vote head of the presidency. It's all the functions. But when you think about the functions, it's State House. It is a spokesperson.
And where I'm headed with this is because we've just taken just a department in terms of how much you're talking about. Because remember, the presidency was 100 billion.
Yeah.
But just this little part of the presidency, we are at 100.5 billion. If you just do your math. So that means you've not even included the office of the deputy president, the salaries, the spokespersons and the people in his office. So that means we are working close to 150 or something billion shillings with a budget that ostensibly we are tightening our belts.
Yes. And receiving donations from a billionaire of 3.5 billion Kenya shillings.
Yes.
For health. By the time you indicate that we are at 150, the entire health budget is 204 billion. Okay? And of that, it is put there to be funded by shift, largely.
Yes.
Not from the taxes.
Not from the taxes, exactly.
But advisory, spokesperson, there's even money for training of you people in the media. You need to be really trained.
Yeah.
In that office, this one training budget increased from 1.2 billion to 2.3 billion.
For training whom?
The spokespeople of government.
Okay.
They'll need to be trained to speak better. You Kenya say that this government, we don't trust it. We need to speak. They'll come. They
need to speak the language of Mwananchi.
Yeah, they'll be trained.
So we need to train them.
To the tune of 2.4 billion shillings.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is part of the amount that has been given to a whole university to implement their CBA. Their collective bargaining
agreement.
But it's just training. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I hope to be collecting cards from people who are in these offices, not just the spokesperson.
Yeah.
So that I understand. You're the one who train with 2.3 billion.
How do you do
it? So it's that ridiculous. And part of how we tighten the budget is by listening to people like the Auditor General, Controller of Budget, Salaries and Remuneration Commission. But you even put an allocation and disregard SRC. So that tells you it will end up being a very good budget.
May I ask, Diana, is what SRC suggests or what requirements they have created, is it law? Is it binding?
Yes.
It is binding.
Yes.
So when SRC says that allowances shall not exceed salaries by 50%, shall not.
Yes.
It's law.
It's law.
So why would we do this and have salaries at 24 billion for the advisors? We're just talking about advisors now. We're using this as a point of example. Why would we have that at 24 billion and then have allowances at 33 billion? Mind you, that 50% of 24 is 12, and 24 plus 12 now comes to 36, which is just 3 shy of the number that has been allocated for allowances. Why would you do that if it's bound by law?
Because whether 60 people die or not, we're in government, we disregard the law through and through. It's exactly where we started to go. That in this country, nothing has changed. If we were to deal with expenditure, it is sealing such loopholes. But how is this presented by Treasury, goes through the Attorney General? The budget this year was even delayed by Cabinet.
Yes.
You would expect for good. For good. So that then they are not getting into the same problems of Kenyans asking very obvious questions that a government with the resources, the intellectual might that we have within our civil service has. But this is what they have given us after the delays.
Diana, one would wonder, because even now we're talking about a total budget estimate of 4.2 trillion, recurrent expenditure of 3.09 trillion, and a development expenditure of 725, and we have county transfers at 436. Good on paper. But even while we are doing this, we come from a point where the president, during the June 26th protest, he stood up and said, we will tighten our belts, we will live within our means and whatnot. But here is a situation where you look at the budget that his office had last year, 2025-2026, the allocation, and the way they're trying to be smart in how they're going to increase expenditure in their offices and whatnot, thinking that Kenyans would not see the games being played, which asks this question: do we really care of the mwananchi down there? Because at the end of the day, this would mean more taxes, improper use of funds. Is it working? It's not working. We're talking about allocation to education. Healthcare has been funded by a billionaire.
Yeah.
But do we even ourselves want this system to work?
Does this, I think based on what we are looking at, and it's a good thing that they are duping Kenyans by saying, look, this year we are not raising, there's no finance bill to raise additional revenue. But we are hoping that Kenyans will know that when you read the budget, you will always see the treasury of government, whether they are lying to us. It's just treachery. I cannot call it. I will not try to sugarcoat it, because every year they grow the budget. But essential services do not grow.
Yes.
So like this year, it's a 4.2 trillion. The deficit is about 760 billion. Then they project that we'll collect a revenue of, is it 3.09? Some even say 2.8. This year, current year, we've not gotten to 2.8. We are working with about 2.2 as the revenue that we will be able to collect.
The budget deficit for this fiscal year 24-25 is yet to be plugged.
Yes.
It is not complete.
Yes.
That the revenue allocation that was done in this fiscal year, and that where they said they were going to get appropriation for the budget deficit has not been completed.
Yes.
Okay.
So the deficit is likely to grow. We are actually, they released supplementary 3 yesterday. So we will see the actual deficit and the KRN. But despite that, we increase the budget and tell people we will fund health, we'll build for you CBC classes without money. Then immediately, Principals and other people will send out tenders. Kenyans who borrow from microfinance institution will build, and they'll have pending bills.
Which continues to grow.
Because
we're talking about pending bills of around $1 trillion right now?
It's about, pending bills right now about 690.
Yeah.
Around 690 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the current deficit is about 800 billion. Add the pending bills, you're at 1.4.
Yeah.
That type of a deficit. This year, even with these spruced up numbers, you will already have a 1.2 if you calculate. But they say it is about 760. Now, what happens when there is no money? Let's just use the example of CBC classes versus advisory. Advisory allowances. Who do you think will get their disbursement first after we pay loans?
The committee people. The advisory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The advisory people will get their money first, and it will even be considered recurrent. The allowances are very recurrent.
Yes.
But the classes can wait, health can wait, and counties will consistently face delayed disbursement. They've even been told you're asking for too much, go raise your own revenue.
Own sources.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But even as we do that, please, there's a finance bill. Kenyans do not be duped. There's a finance bill. It no longer comes for your payslip. Apparently.
It goes to where you are operating, isn't it, Diana?
Yes.
That this finance bill is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and then just elucidate a little bit before we go to a break, that it's no longer coming for your pay slip. It's coming for the places that you operate in. It's coming when you're buying fuel.
Yes.
It's coming when you're going to buy anything now, because we're looking at packaging with the 150 shillings on top. Anything that is going to be wrapped in anything is being taxed.
Yes.
So what does that mean? That the prices will
go up. And then it also targets, where we've gotten to, we have taken away the consumption power of Kenyans and the producing power. Until we address that, tax revenues will continue to go down. Growth at the micro level will continue to go down. The salary pay slips were raided so badly over the last 2-3 years that we are yet to recover. My pay slip does not support my household. It supports other people indirectly. The minute it is attacked, I self-preservation. I drop 2 families first. I remain with about 2. So those ones sink deeper into poverty, and my consumption power goes significantly lower. Now, as we do that, what has happened this year, because of moving from VAT zero rated to VAT exemption, especially when it comes to pharmaceutical products, farm
products,
animal
farm
feed
inputs,
and farm inputs. So the cost of animal feed will go up. The cost of medication with shisha and this budget appropriation will go up. Everything that is wrapped will go up.
Essentially, we go for a break? Yes. Let's take that break first.
It's necessary.
Okay.
Because then we want to ask some practical, relevant questions when we come back from this, and to say, look, our eyes open? Is there a veil? What sorcery is this? Because it's got to be better. But we need to sometimes open the lid on how bad it is for us to see the need to then make sure that it is done well. Diana Gijengo is the Executive Director of the Institute for Social Accountability. We're looking at budget 2025-2026, and we're saying, where are the Wananchi? So far, we can't see them. But let's see if we can dig a little deeper when we come back from this break. Don't go away.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Give it up for all the effortlessly chic moms out there. Get 30% off women's knitwear and sleepwear until 11 May. This Mother's Day, we're celebrating everything that makes her one of a kind. From her love of timeless knitwear to her obsession with all things comfy, Woolworths has everything you need for her perfect day. Shop in-store now. T's and C's apply. Woolworths, the difference.
Save money on your rising electricity bill with StarTime Solar Home Solution. We offer a complete home and commercial energy saving system that includes solar panels with 15-year warranty, lithium battery with 10 years warranty, and an inverter with 5 years warranty. StarTime Solar Home Solution is efficient, reliable, and safe to power essential appliances, complete home lighting, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, microwaves, iron box, instant shower, and entertainment devices, television, computers, Wi-Fi, and so much more. Say yes to reduced electricity bills and call us today on 0719 077 777 and get started on your green energy journey today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
The weather with Spice FM.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning at 16 degrees. It's 16 and sunny in Nakuru with cloudy conditions at 16 in Nyeri and cloudy conditions at 15 in Eldoret. Cloudy at 24 into Mombasa, while Malindi is raining at 25. It's cloudy at 20 into Kisumu with cloudy conditions at 17 in Kakamega. Light rain in Kampala at 18, while Dar es Salaam is cloudy at 24. We're looking at clear conditions at 11 in Johannesburg and sunny conditions at 26 in Mogadishu. It's cloudy at 14 in Addis Ababa with mostly clear conditions in Lagos at 28 and light rain showers in Kinshasa at 23.
Spice up your life. Traffic.
All right, so we are getting into traffic hour and it's pretty busy. Doesn't really matter where you look this morning. Everybody's getting where they need to go, but then there will be some parts where it's held up. On the Thika Superhighway, one of them is busy. And coming in from the Northern Bypass, traffic is then now delivering hot and heavy towards Kiambu Road and then out towards Muthaiga Square. Very busy here. And also seeing traffic that would have taken off from as far as Red Hill, trying to find its way the long route onto Limuru Road, but then you get stuck right around Muthaiga as you find your way through towards Wangari Maathai. So that whole network is doing the business this morning. It's very busy on Gong Road as you come in from Naivasha Road heading out towards the city, and we're seeing some traffic also starting to form on Langata Road as you get out towards Uhuru Gardens at the interchange and then out towards all of that. Very busy right about now. We're in traffic hour, folks. Let's see what happens as we get through Wednesday. We'll talk and share. Spice FMK Eon X. # the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
At 22 minutes at 8 o'clock, Diana Gishengo is our guest this hour. We are looking into budget 2025-2026. And, during the break was just discussing, Diana, and I said, sometimes we want to academize this thing and say, okay, well, fiscal and economic, and we want to say consolidate, and I don't know, want to say all of austerity measures. At the end of the day, we're putting things on a piece of paper, and we'll put it in a briefcase, and then the CS will go stand on the stairs as a tradition. Yeah. But it is a lie what's in that briefcase. Isn't that what we are saying?
Yes.
That it is not possible for these numbers that we are seeing currently to actually fund, because that's what the budget does. The budget is your document that will fund the country and everything that needs to be done for the next 1 year. But it is a lie that will be on that piece of paper because you're not able to fund the country is what we are saying right now.
Yes.
So why are we doing it?
And we are unable to fund this budget because, first of all, you have invaded our payslips so much that we are not spending for the government to get that.
True.
You've also gone further to increase taxes on other things because now you're not coming for our payslips. You're going for where we function.
Yes.
And again, the purchasing power for Kenyans will go down. That means the government in return is getting less and less year in, year out. So when we are presented with that briefcase, why are we lying?
And is that budget, who do they really write the budget
for?
I think it's for some people they fundraise. They target. It's like a fundraising paper. with targets. that mean nothing. But the amount of public participation that goes into this,
yes,
it's a mockery of the wisdom and the intellect of Kenyans to continue giving a higher budget. And I've said, every time you hear the budget in Kenya has increased, weep. Weep, Kenyans weep. Because one, it means more theft.
Why does the budget increase?
It increases because of our budgeting process. They are fixed vote heads that we do not have the courage to wipe away. So people in the public service present, and every time all they do is add a formula to take the figure up. And then new departments are created every other time without a proper reflection, and everybody just goes back and presents their budget. When you consolidate these, figures must go up. Now, think about health, for instance. At the national level, the amount that always remains for health is higher than the total amount that goes to the counties. Why? Because historically, health budget was, somebody was in charge of that budget before devolved system of government. They have continued to present it. They are not necessarily the ones who plan and not the ones who implement.
Yes.
But they are told these are our needs. When this is presented, whoever must implements with or without the money. But secondly, we have both budgeted corruption and legislated corruption. You know, in this country, we even legislate for corruption.
Explain.
How we legislate for corruption is under the public finance chapter, chapter 12, articles 201 and 203, all our money is supposed to come to the Kenya Consolidated Bank, like a consolidated fund within the central bank, not bank, sorry. Central Bank Consolidated Fund. It doesn't matter what currency you receive the money in. It must first come to the central bank, because that is where people like the controller of budget, the auditor general, have power to extract. So the controller of budget okays money that is in the consolidated fund. The auditor general is able to